Hello, beautiful, and welcome to the Mom Stock Sex podcast. With me, your host, Mor Yelvington of More Transform Your Reality, where I help you step out of trauma and reclaim your power. I'm so honored to have the beautiful Demetria Buie here with me today. Hello, hello.
Yes. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm really excited for our conversation because I know that what you have to share with us is so valuable. I know it's going to bring so much awareness and some tools for these moms listening. So before we jump in, how about you introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do?
Yes. So thank you so much for having me on your show. I absolutely love everything that you are doing, and I'm just excited to be here. I just had to be on your show. But I'm Demetria Buie. I am 38 years old. I am from Louisiana. I have one son. He is 11. He will be 12 in April. So that's preteen, right? Yeah. So almost. So I am an author, I'm a writer, and I have a magazine for women who was once like me, broken, confused, didn't know your purpose, was that people pleaser and all of that. And so I created a magazine to give women a safe place to come, share their truths, share their story, promote their business and anything that they're starting up. And I am a romance novelist, and my first novel is getting ready to come out, and I'm super excited about that. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That's amazing. So why don't you share a little bit about your journey, how you were sharing a little bit about what you kind of dealt with, but maybe you can maybe dive a little bit more about how you went from being a people pleaser, broken, quote unquote, because I don't believe anybody's broken. It's just a broken situation. And
Yes,
and dealing with all that to now being an author and a magazine and a business owner,
yes,
right? So how do we get to that point?
yes. Wow. So everything started when whew, teenager. A lot of things start from childhood, and I think that's where I remember when I was 19 years old, and I was all well, in my home we was always told to not tell what was going on in the home. And I remember when I was homeless and I walked into a good real store, and I just remember just being like just this broken girl at that moment. And I was just talking to myself and I was speaking to God, and I was like, I'm going to live, I'm going to die. And I began journaling, didn't know that it was going to turn into a book. And I just needed to get out everything that, from childhood, from being suicidal, having suicidal thoughts, to growing up in this functional home, watching my dad abuse my mom, just all of that. And, we grew up in a religious household. And so we know what religion is that we're told this and we're told that. And, we grow up just living that life. But, after all the religious books and things that that I was writing and everything, and um after um my divorce, I was just like, I needed to follow my own path. And for me, it was like, what did that look like, following your own path? And, again, I was writing what everybody else wanted me to write. I was scared to write, become that novelist that I knew I was. I was a romance writer. I love writing sex scenes. I love writing romance. That's who I was. And I had to hide who I was for a very long time, of being judged. You can't do that, you're not supposed to do that, you're supposed to be this Christian woman, all of that. And I just, again, after the divorce, losing my mother, she passed away last year from cancer. And my son's father, he was murdered last year in February. And so, even just before all of that, I was like, I have to follow my own path here. And I was afraid. It wasn't easy. And because, everybody that had told me things in my life, oh, to live like this and to do it like that. And, all the negative things also that was told to me in my life. Oh, you'll never be this and you'll never amount to anything. And so I had to take all of that negativity that was in my head and in my mind and even in my body, all of that. And I had to swipe that out with like, okay, this is what my new path looked like. And I had to follow it.
I love
Yeah.
that so much because I feel like so many of us we're in this place a lot of times where or we're used to the situation we created and we feel like there's no end and this is my life and nothing's going to change. And then
Mhm.
there's the women that they feel an inkling like, I'm not going to live like this. I'm not going to different
Yeah.
into this reality. I'm going to create my own reality. And it seems
Yes.
like that's really what you've done. And maybe you can share a little bit about like, what does that look like? Like, how did you make the decision? And then how were you able to step out of that traumatic tragedy situation that you were in and actually create what it is that you wanted, that vision you had in your head? Like, how did you get to that point?
you know, um, Again, it was knowing that it came from, again, the writing of like, okay, I want to write like this. And it was like, I have to live the life that I want, or I'm going to be 50, 60 years old regretting so much in my life. And here I was at the age of 36, 30, 35, 36. And I'm like, I started listening to this guy named Never Goddard. Not sure if you ever heard of Never Goddard, of creating the life that you want. You can have what you want. Your thoughts create your reality. And I was like, wow. So I've been thinking negative thoughts. I have not been connecting with nature, all these things that God of the universe created, and I'm sitting here like, okay, change your thoughts, change the way you're thinking. And this took some time for me because I had to get all that chaos, out of my head and know that, I am who I want to be, and a lot of things changed for me. Seriously, it really did. My son, he was a big joy of my life. And I started just speaking things like I already had it, and I started with like little things. And I kept a lot of things to myself, because I was that woman who needed validation. I needed approval. If I'm talking to this guy and I'm like, uh, I need approval, and I would go and be like, oh, this guy, and they'd be like, oh no, girl, don't talk to him. He don't go to church. He don't do this. He don't do that. And I was like, you know what? No more. I started writing my novel, and I'm like, girl, pour out, pour out, pour out. This is you. Write this now. And I was like, yes, here I am. And all the feedback I was getting, it was like, girl, you're a badass. And you're this. You're that. And and it felt good, and it feels good. And I say, I don't care what people have to say about me. Hey, they was talking about me then. Hey, talk now. At least I'm happy and I'm living the life that I want. And every day we're creating every single day. Whether
Right.
you know it or not, your thoughts, whether it's good or bad, you are creating every single day. And I know I can have the life that I want. And I am powerful, you know. I'm a powerful being with the God that lives inside of me. Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
true. So I'm curious, when it comes to these romance novels, are you sharing from your own experiences or is this just stuff that's coming through in a creative process?
It's come from creativity and not really a personal. I mean, thoughts. Yeah, definitely thoughts and creativity, all of that. And I really started pushing it. I support lupus awareness. And, when I started getting involved with supporting lupus, I wanted to give these ladies something to really dive in, because, if you, even with cancer, lupus, or any kind of disease, when they land up in that hospital and they're in pain, they're hurting. I said, I want to give them a story to take away, some of that pain. They'll be like, yeah, okay, and they will still be turning like, oh, this is good. This is really making my day. And so I wanted to definitely give, um, my readers and, all of that.
I love that so much. I feel like there's another whole level of showing your heart and where it's coming
Yeah.
from. And I think that's
Yeah.
so admirable,
Yeah.
making other women feel good even when they're feeling bad, right?
Yeah.
So is there anywhere we can start reading your stuff? You said it's in a process.
Oh, yes. Yes. On my Instagram, listen, all the links are on there on my Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Demetria for real. And my novels are on there. I have a new book coming out, and it's called Naked. And I get undressed with my life. Of just telling, it's a memoir. So I'm just telling stories of my life. And this is really of just how I overcame, and to help other women, other people, to be their authentic selves, and to live the life that they want. And you
Yeah.
can.
And
Yeah.
how do you think that changes the stuff in the bedroom?
Say that again.
How do you think that changes the stuff in the bedroom? How does
Oh,
that
how
elevate your sex life when you're in that energy?
oh, listen, girl. When I was writing that novel, I almost called myself the sex queen. I was like, girl. And as I be looking at some other movies, I was like, they should have let me wrote that. They should have let me wrote that scene. Take that scene. Take that scene out. But again, I am a sexual being, and I love writing sex scenes. I remember when I was in junior high and I got expelled, and I got expelled because I was writing sex scenes in the sixth grade. And my teacher kept finding the notebook. And when we supposed to be doing math, I would have my math book and I would have my notebook writing story. And he always found them. He's like, you got to go. I've never heard of anything like this before. And he called my mom. And then my mom called my sister, said, go pick her up. She's expelled from school for writing these notes. But as I look back on it, I was like, you know, this is me.
Yeah, this is you. That's so funny you say that because I know that when in 11th grade, I asked my teacher if I can make an educational poster board for the school. And she was like,
Yeah.
of course. And I was a good student. And it was all about how to give good orgasms to women because at that point,
Yes.
my girlfriends were not experiencing orgasm. So I made this
Yeah.
whole poster board. It was called like "Don't Annoy Our Clit," and
I
it was all
love
these
it.
tips. And it was, I guess it was sexual. And I put it on the school, and my teacher got so mad at me because she did not expect anything like that. I got in so much trouble, but in my hand, I was doing service to the 11th graders that are having sex and not having orgasms, right? So
Yes.
and she said to me, I can't believe you let me allow you to do that. And I said, it's educational. It's very educational. I can tell you that after that, they brought sex ed into the school.
Yes. I love it.
But I love that we stand up for our truth and for who we are, and we're not
Mhm.
apologetic about it, even so young. It's like we know who
Yeah.
we are. It's just this journey that takes
Yes.
us away and separates us from what we came here to be and the fear of judgment. So the fact that you stepped into your true self, you're out there, you're
Yes.
doing it, and you're setting a tone and you're helping women. I mean, that is just so
Yes.
honorable in my opinion. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for everything that you're doing because I
Yes.
know it makes such a big difference for so many women out there.
Yes. 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 So, so much.
So when is your book coming out so we know to prepare for it?
So Naked will be out in August, and then the novel I am actually finishing up. So the first three chapters of the novel, it's called My Husband's Girlfriend Form, and it actually the first three chapters are available now. It's free, so you can download it and you can read the first three chapters. That will be out this summer. And so, but my biggest one is Naked. Actually, both of them are. I just ended up promoting them at the same time a little bit. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to check it out. And of course, we're going to attach your links and profile and
Yeah.
everything so people can find you easily and the amazing
Yeah.
work that you do. And what is that
Yeah.
magazine that you do? What is that called? How can we get on that?
So the magazine is on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million. So the magazine is called Empowering Women to Speak Out. And so of me, I was almost molested at 16 by a family member. And, I wasn't protected or anything like that. And so again, after I wrote my first autobiography, it's called Refuse to Lose. I came out with this magazine. I said I wanted to give women a safe place, for the ones who was just like me that couldn't say anything, that was afraid to speak their truth. So yeah, this one is called Empowering Women to Speak Out. We got like 50 issues, and we have another one coming out in the spring, and another one coming out in the fall, and so on, so on. Yeah.
Amazing. What
Yeah.
amazing work. Really. Thank you. I'm so
Thank
honored.
you.
And thank you for taking the time and coming to play with me today and talk
Oh
sex.
yes.
It was such a pleasure.
Oh yes.
And thank you guys for tuning in and listening. If you want to find more about Demetria, just check her out, read her books and her stories, get yourself pampered, and go have some amazing sex. So have a great
Yes, definitely.
and we'll tune in with you next week. Bye.